Unless you've been living under a rock, you would know that President Donald Trump found himself in a bit of hot water after he attempted to downplay the significance of releasing the Epstein files. After receiving backlash, as you can see from this Truth Social post here, the president ordered his Attorney General Pam Bondi to release all Epstein files that her department was sitting on. You know, the files that back in February Bondi claimed were sitting on her desk, literally waiting to be released. But this woman right here, a Florida judge named Robin Rosenberg, has declined the DOJ's request to release the Florida federal grand jury files on Jeffrey Epstein. She's an Obama-appointed judge, as I bet you already figured out. But more importantly, she's married to a man named Michael McAuliffe, who most coincidentally was the Florida state attorney who presided over the 2008 case in the Sunshine State, which resulted in Jeffrey Epstein's first indictment. A very bizarre, very soft indictment and subsequent house arrest. As a reminder, at the time, Epstein was accused of being a child sex trafficker, but oddly enough, was only charged with 2 counts of prostitution, which carried a much, much lighter penalty. Our next guest, a former CIA contractor and current host of Investigate Everything on thedailyclout.io, Brian O'Shea, says that there is an inherent conflict of interest for Judge Rosenberg because of her husband's involvement with the Epstein case, and that very well may be a cover-up afoot. Welcome back, Brian O'Shea, to the show for this exclusive. This is huge. I saw this and I'm like, of course there's a conflict of interest. Of course she should have recused herself, but alas, Judge Rosenberg did not. Tell us about this.
On again, and I think you're a very good Christian, by the way. So, yeah, no problem. So I was checking it out. I just saw this head. I didn't even know this happened, that he was turned down. But what ended up happening was I saw that she got refused, and I was thinking, okay, why would anyone at this point refuse to unseal it? It's the Democrats that have been screaming, open the files, yet here you have this left-wing judge who I think currently is down on the West Palm Beach bench saying no. Well, what caught my attention were 2 things: the West Palm Beach connection and the Palm Beach County connection. Okay, and also the fact that as I was reading through all of these articles, a lot of the articles were not mentioning the specific location where she is a judge in Florida. I found that strange. So I looked into her, and then just on a whim, I just looked at her husband. Who was her husband? You always look at the spouse. And turns out it's this Michael McAuliffe. Now, there's very little about him, which I find extremely odd. And just a quick adjustment, he didn't preside over the 2008 case. What's worse, and I'm glad you brought that up, is he actually was the Florida state attorney of Palm Beach County from 2009 to 2012, which is almost the entire span of Epstein's house arrest and his probation. While he was on it, he was flying back and forth to Little St. James's Island because some judge down there had allowed him to go anywhere he wants as long as he's back in 24 hours. Now, that would have had to been approved by Michael McAuliffe, Judge Rosenberg's husband. It was during that time that Jeffrey Epstein was on probation, going all over places like Boston, going to New York, going to St. James, that a lot of his crimes took place. So when I saw that, I'm like, doesn't she have to recuse herself? I didn't even see any mention of her at all in that relationship. And no one was talking about it. So I trashed my other show for the night. I was up all night, wrote it up, got it out by 8 o'clock and did a show on it last night. And I got to tell you, Emerald, I'm really angry about this. I'm really angry about
it. Yeah, and everyone should be, right? Because the whole problem is the lack of transparency. And this only furthers the speculation, or I don't even think it's speculation anymore, it's just obvious, of the cover-up. This is yet more evidence of the cover-up and how extensive it is. And just to clarify, you wrote this for Substack, so people can go to your Substack and see what you have found from your deep dive into this judge and her husband. So I encourage everyone to do that.